Hi, welcome to my video on solving linear equations, one variable. And again, this is a review, and this review is practice 1, part C. And this video is pertaining to fractions and decimals, equations with fractions and decimals. Solve for x. Negative 2/3 x equals 18. So there's two ways to do this one, and I'll do it both ways. One way is if you multiply both sides by the reciprocal of negative 2/3. So negative, the reciprocal is negative 3/2 times negative 2/3x equals negative 3/2 times 18. Multiplying it by the negative reciprocal gives you 6/6, which is 1. And here, 2 and 18 goes 9, gives us a negative 27. That's one way to do it, multiplying each side by the reciprocal of this constant that's in front of the x. Another way is to eliminate the fraction first. So the LCD is 3, so if I multiply each side by 3, so if I multiply this side by 3 and this side by 3, I will get the 3's cancel out. I will get negative 2x equals, and 18 times 3 is 54. Now I divide by negative 2. So x equals negative 27. So there's two ways to do it. I prefer, in most times when I have fractions, to multiply all parts of the equation by the LCD. And that's particularly true here in B. I have fractions a half, and I have a 1/3. So the LCD is 2 times 3 is 6. So if you multiply all parts of this equation by 6, which is what I'm going to do, that means every fraction should cancel. So 2 into 6 goes 3, so I get a 3x. 3 into 6 goes 2, and I get a negative 2x. And negative 1 times 6 is negative 6. And you simplify, x is equal to negative 6. So again, if you have an equation with fractions, find the LCD and multiply each part of the equation by the LCD. And I will always stress that in all future topics dealing with fractions. C, I have a half times x plus 8 and a negative 1/3 times 2x minus 3/2. So what I do first is that I get rid of the brackets. So a half times x is a half x. A half times 8 is 4. Negative 1/3 times 2 is negative 2/3 x. And a negative 1/3 times negative 3/2 is positive. The 3's cancel out, and I get 1/2. So let's just do that here on multiplication. So 1/3 times 3/2. The 3's cancel, and that gives me the 1/2. Now, since the brackets are gone, so now I have fractions. So the LCD right now is, I got a 3 and a 2. The LCD is 6. So if I multiply each part of the equation by 6, so I'm going to write it down so I won't cram it up. So I'm multiplying each part of the equation by 6. I'm multiplying both sides of the equation by 6, but if I put 6 times each part of the equation, then I can see the cancellation much easier. 2 into 6 goes 3, so that gives me 3x. 6 times 4 is 24. 3 into 6 goes 2, that's negative 4x. And half of 6 is 3. Now I move the x's to the left side, make the 4x, which is negative here, positive. And the 24 moves to the right side to become negative 24. So that's 7x equals negative 21. Divide by 7. So x is equal to negative 3. So what I do is get rid of the bracket first, And so I have just simple terms, and then find the LCD. D, I have two fractions equal. So the best way to do this, there's two ways to do it. One way, to make it easy, because there's two fractions equal, I cross multiply. So I go 3 times x plus 1 equals 4 times x minus 1. Two fractions are equal to each other, so you multiply these two, and you multiply these two. And you've seen that in the unit when I was doing ratio and proportions. So simplify that, I get 3x plus 3, 4x minus 4, and 3x minus 4x equals negative 4 minus 3. Again, plus 4 moves over to become a minus, and a plus 3 moves over here to become a minus. So that gives us negative 1x equals negative 7. Divide by negative 1, x equals 7. Again, I could multiply these equations. The LCD is 12, so I could multiply 12 by this fraction and 12 by this. When I multiply by 12, 4 into 12 goes 3, so I get this, and 3 into 12 goes 4, and I get this. So cross multiplying is just as quick. And again, because we got two fractions equal, we're going to cross multiply. So 5 times 2x plus 2 equals 1 times 3x minus 4. So that's 10x plus 10 equals 3x minus 4. 10x, that's a plus, bring it over makes it a minus. As a plus, bring it over makes it a minus. Negative 7x equals negative 14. Negative 4 subtract 10 is negative 14. Divide by negative 7 on each side. I get 2. So just a review of working with equations which has fractions. Let's continue. Solve for x and check. So this time we're going to solve the equation and check it. Check it by finding the answer and solving the answer back in. So the LCD, I'm going to multiply by the LCD. So multiply, I got a 4, 6, and 2, so the LCD is 12. Remember, an LCD is the same as a multiple. So what denominator or what multiple will 4, 6, and 2 divide into? And the least one is 12. So that means we'll multiply this fraction by 12, we'll multiply this fraction by 12, and we'll multiply this fraction by 12. Because I'm multiplying by 12, which is the LCD, all the denominators should cancel. 4 into 12 goes 3. 3 times x, done. 6 into 12 goes 2. 2 times 2x plus 4 gives 2x, 2 times x plus 2 gives me 2x plus 4. 2 into 12 goes 6. 6 times x is 6x. Now I simplify this side, I get 5x plus 4 equals 6x. Now 5x minus 6x equals negative 4. 6x moves to the left to become a minus. 4 moves to the right to become a minus. So negative 1x equals negative 4. Divide by negative 1, x equals 4. Remember, that's a 1 understood to be there. So divide by negative 1. And we're going to check our answer. So without writing the equation in again, I'm going to sub negative 1 in here. Or sorry, sub 4 in. 4 is the answer. So 4 over 4 plus 4 plus 2 over 6 equals 4 over 2. So I put 4 here, 4 here, 4 here. Now I'm going to simplify. So this is 4 over 4 is 1. That's 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 over 6 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 equals 2. So we're okay. 4 is the correct answer. Number 3, solve for x. Now I have an equation with decimals. And the simplest way to do equation with decimals is I could bring the x's to the left and the numbers to the right and work on the decimals. But another way to make it easier is to multiply by 10, 100, or 1,000. So here I have one decimal place, one decimal place, and one decimal place. So I'm going to multiply by 10. So I'm multiplying 10 by this side and 10 by this side. When I multiply by 10, I get move the decimal one place to the right, so it becomes 12. It moves to right there. 1 times 10 is 10. 10 times decimal 3 moves one place, so it's 3. 10 times 0.8, decimal 8 is an 8. Multiplying by 10, you have no decimals. Now it's easier to work with. But again, that's the way I do it. Make it easier. So this is 9x equals negative 18. And divide by 9, x equals negative 2. Again, you could do it this way. You could go 1.2x minus 0.3x equals negative 0.8 minus 1. And so when you subtract those, you get this 12 subtract 3, if you think about it, is 9. So it's decimal 9x equals, and that's a negative 1.8 when you add. Remember, that's like that. So it's a negative 1.8. And you divide by decimal 9 and decimal 9. 0, you get, they cancel, you get 0. They get 1. And when you divide here, positive into a negative is a negative. And decimal 9. So if you multiply this number by 10, you get 18. Multiply the denominator by 10, you get 9. So that gives you the 2. Or you could go decimal 9 divided into negative 1 like that. That's one decimal place there, one decimal place there. So 9 into negative 18 is negative 2. Again, multiplying by 10 eliminates the decimals in the equation. And B, again, I'm looking here, I got 2 decimal places, 1 decimal place, 1 decimal place, 2 decimal places. So I'm going to multiply, to get rid of all the decimals, to multiply by 100. So let's multiply by 100, and we should have no decimals left on either side. So 100 times decimal 16 is 16. 100 times decimal 4 is 40. Remember, when you multiply by 100, the decimal moves 2 places to the right. So from there to there. Multiply by 100 moves 2 places, so there and 1 more 0. Multiply by 100 here, and you get 20. Multiply by 100 here, and you get 4. Move the decimal 2 places, 1 more 0. 2 places, right to there. Now, x's go on the left, and the numbers, so this becomes 20x becomes negative 20, 40 becomes negative 40, so it's negative 4x equals negative 36. Divide by negative 4, x equals, make that a 4, 9. So that's, again, you can work it out by moving the x's to the left and numbers to the right, and then dealing with the decimals. But if you multiply by the most decimal places, that is, multiply by 10 if you got 1 decimal place, multiply by 100 if you got 2 decimal places, if you multiply by 1,000 if you got 3 decimal places. Multiply each side so that you have no decimals. Makes it easier to deal with, again, if you wish. Now, solve for x. If you look at this equation, you have 25%, you have decimal 5, you got 1/3, and you got 5 squared plus. Now, how are we going to, we got percents and decimals. We could change everything to a decimal, but changing 1/3 to a decimal, 1/3 is 0.33 onward. So it's best not to, because of that 1/3, it's best to not to change it to decimals. Like decimal 25% is decimal 25, and we got 0.5, but we don't have a decimal for this exactly. So let's change them all to fractions, and not to decimals. let's see, 25% is 25 out of 100, and that's 1 out of 4. So 25% is 1/4 x. And decimal 5 is 5 out of 10, and 5 out of 10, 5 is 1/2. So I have them all changed to fractions, so that's, now I have to simplify the inside of the bracket first by PEMDAS. So I got 1/4 x plus 1/2 x equals 1/3 x. So I square first 25 and add 2, so that's 27. So the inside the bracket is simplified. And 1/3 of 27 is 9. So I have 1/4 x, 1/2 x equals 9. Now, the way I like to do it, the LCD for 4 and 2 is 4. So multiply each part by 4. 4 cancels into 4 once, so I get 1x. 2 into 4 goes 2, so 2 times x is 2x. 4 nines is 36. 1x plus 2x is 3x equals 36. So 3, okay, I could do this. 3 into 36 goes 12. So 12 is the answer. Again, it's easier to change, because this is a fraction, change these percent and decimals to fractions and multiply by the LCD. Number 5, if x equals -2, find the value of k in this equation. So we got to solve for k. X is -2, so let's sub -2 in for x. Now that we have -2 in for x, let's simplify. So we got a -6, -2k equals 2k minus 2. Because we have only one constant, that means solving this for k is the same as when you solve for x. So -2x, move this to the left and make it -2k. So this is the -2k right here. Move this one to the left and make it -2k. That's -2 plus 6. Move this -6 to the right, makes it plus. So that's -4k equals 4. Now divide both sides by -4. So k becomes -1. So by subbing x into the equation, putting -2 in place of x, then you solve for k. So if you took the equation and put -1 for k and -2 for x, then both sides would be true. Number 6, state the number of solutions for an equation which has the end result when solved. So if you're solving an equation and the equation doesn't end up like x equals 12 or k equals -1, if the equation ends up with 0 equals 4, that's impossible. So that means 0 cannot equal 4. So that means there's no solution to this equation. No matter what number you put in place of x, there's no numbers that will fit it, because you got 0 equals 4. That's impossible. What about if you solved and got 0 equals 0? Well, 0 equals 0, that means that there's many solutions, an infinite, and there's an infinite number of solutions. And an example of that would be, say, x plus 1 equals x plus 6. So watch what happens. X minus x equals 6 minus 1. So that's a 0 equals 5. So because I got 0 equals 5, that means this equation, there's no numbers will make this equation true. So look at it. If you put, no matter what you put for x here, if you take, say, 8, put an 8 here, you get a 9. Put an 8 here, you get 14. Not, can't work. You put -1 here, you get a 0. Put a -1 here, you get a 5. So no matter what number you put in for x in this equation, it won't work. And this one right here, this happens when the two sides when both sides of the equation are the same. So if I said 4 times x plus 1/2, so let's say that was, let's say 2 times 2x minus 1, let's say plus 4. Now looking at this equation, you don't know what it's like. So what we have to do, we go, let's see, we multiply, so we get 4x, and 4 times 1/2 is 2. Multiply here, we get 4x minus 2 plus 4. So this is 4x plus 2. You simplify this, we get 4x. Notice that two sides of the equation are the same. So that means 4x minus 4x equals 2 minus 2. So 0 equals 0. So both the left side and the right side are equal. They're the same. So that means, no, if I take no matter what value of x I put in here and work it out, the left side will be the same as the right side. So there's many, many solutions, infinite number of solutions. When you solve an equation and put the variable on the left, numbers on the right, come up with 0 equals 0, you have an infinite number of solutions for this equation. Just wanted to review that idea. Number 7, solve for y. So instead of solving for x, we're solving for y. So that means we're solving for y. Y is normally, I put y on the left and every other term on the right. So here we go. Let's get rid of let's multiply first. So 2x plus 6y minus, so remember now I'm multiplying first. Okay, that's done. Now that I got my multiplication, I have to subtract. So 2x plus 6y. And when I subtract, I add on the opposite. So that's plus, so we make it a minus. That's a negative y, make it positive y. Okay, done. Now we're solving for y, so all the y's, I'm going to simplify this side first. So negative 4x plus 7y. Notice, if you simplify each side first before you transpose, it just makes it easier. So we're solving for y's. So 7y minus 3y equals 4x plus 24. So because we're solving for y, I put the y's on the left side and all the other variables on the right side. So that gives us 4y equals 4x plus 24. So let's go up here. So that means I divide by 4. So 4y divided by 4 is 4x divided by 4. 24 divided by dividing all terms by 4. So y equals x plus 6. Again, solving for y is the same as solving for x's in a single variable, that is, or this is a different. These are just a different problem related to the single variable. So we're solving it for a single variable, even though the equation has two variables. Number 8, again, we're solving this one, and we want to find the value of y. So how do we do it? Because these are two lines intersecting, the vertically opposite angles are equal. So that means 6x plus 4 equals 3x plus 22. Vertically opposite angles are equal, so 6x minus 3x equals 22 minus 4. 3x equals 18, and 3 into 18 goes 6. So we can still have to get what y is. So to get what I know, vertically opposite angles are equal, but I also know that because this is a straight line, that these two angles will add together to give us 180, or these two will add together to give us 180. So by subbing 6 back in here or here, I'll get the size of this angle. So if I take 3x plus 22 and put 6 in the place of x, I'll get 18 plus 22, which is 40. So if this is 40 degrees right here, that means that these add up to, that means that 7y plus 40 adds up to 180 degrees. Or I could do these two adding up to 180. Makes no difference. Makes no difference. Because this is 40. If I put 6 in here, I get 36 plus 4 is 40. I get 40 for either one. So now, these two add together to give me 180. So that means 7y is equal to 180 minus 40. 7y equals 140. Divide by 7. Y equals 20. So again, I had to get the value of x before I can get the value of y. Number 9, I have a triangle that these two sides are equal. It's an isosceles triangle with two sides equal. An equilateral triangle has three sides equal. A scalene triangle has no sides equal. So these two sides are equal. That means that just check around. The perimeter is 70. Perimeter is the distance all around. Find the length of AB. So I have to find x to find the length of AB. So if this is 2x plus 20, this one is 2x plus 20. That means that the perimeter is 2x plus 20. I could double it, or I can add them together like this. So that's the perimeter. Oh, better be careful, that's a 10 there. So that means the perimeter, if I add them up, and what I can group them all together, but 2x, 2x, and x, that's 5x. And I got 20 and 10 is 50. So we're told that the perimeter is 70. So that means that 5x plus 50 is equal to 70. So that means that 5x equals 70 minus 50. 5x equals 20 divided by 5. That means x is equal to 4. So now that I have found the value of x, I can say that AB is equal to 2x plus 20. So x is 4. So 2 times 4 plus 20. 8 plus 20 is 28. And if we check it out, let's see. Let's just do a quick check. Let's just do a quick check. So x is 28. So, sorry, x is 4. So that's 4. So that's a 28. This is the same size. So this is a 28. X is 4. So 4 plus 10 is 14. So that means 28 doubled plus 14. So that's 56 plus 14, 70. So 4 is correct, and that's the right length. That's just checking it and make sure. And we have one more to do, and it's solve each for the indicated variable. So sometimes you're given an equation, and you have to solve it for, this is already solved for P, but I want to solve it for L. So if I want to solve it for L, I move 2L to the left side, and I move the P to the right side. When you do, you change the signs. Now you multiply. So positive becomes a negative, positive becomes a negative. So now you divide every term by -2. So when you divide by -2, you get L equal to, so that's 1, that's P over 2, so that's a half P, and that's negative W. 2 divided by -2 is -1. So now I have the equation solved for L. B, we have this equation, which is, this is Fahrenheit, this is centigrade. This is the equation when you given Fahrenheit, sub the Fahrenheit temperature in here, Subtract 32, multiply by 5 over 9, you get centigrade. But we want to solve this equation for Fahrenheit. So the first thing I do is I eliminate the fractions. So I go 5/9 times F, and 5/9, if you multiply 5/9 by 32, so let's check, 5 over 9 times 32 over 1, that's 160 over 9. So this becomes 160 over 9. Now that I have the brackets gone, the LCD is 9. So I'll multiply each part by 9. So this gives me 9C. 9's cancel out and I get 5F. And the 9's cancel out and I get 160. Now I'm solving for F. So now I have the bracket gone. I got the fraction distributed through here. I got no fractions. So negative 5F equals negative 9C minus 160. So the F goes to the left to become negative. C goes to the right to become negative. Now I divide all terms by negative 5. So there's F, and that's 9 over 5C. And when I divide here, I get positive, that's a 32. So 5 into 160, 3 5s are 15, bring down to 0, 2. So that's the formula for Fahrenheit. And so when you're given the centigrade, you substitute centigrade in here, multiply by 5, 9 over 5, and then you add on 32 to get the Fahrenheit temperature. Or if you think about it, or if you've seen this, this is a good way to do centigrade to Fahrenheit is, I always say that's 9 over 5, that's 2, roughly 2. So if somebody gives me 20 degrees centigrade, I will double it to get 40 and add 32 to get an estimate, 72. And the last one to do, 16x plus 8y equals 8, solve for y. So the y is already on the y is already on the left side. So the x got to move over to the right, become a negative. Then I divide by 8. So we get 8's cancel. And negative 16 divided by 8 is negative 2. 8 divided by 8 is 1. So this equation, solve it for y. There's the answer. I could turn around and solve this equation for x if I want. That means x would be on the left and everything else would be on the right. But just for a bit of fun, let's solve this. Let's solve for x. So we have 16x equals negative 8y plus 8. So if we're solving for x, the y moves over, become negative. So now divide by 16. So x equals 8 goes into 16, 1 over 2y, and it's a negative. And 8 into 16 goes 2. So if I solve for y, I get this expression. So y equals negative 2x plus 1. If I solve for x, you get a half, negative a half y plus a half. So that brings us to the end of the review on solving linear equations of one variable. And again, if you like my video, click the like button, click the subscribe button, visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content. That's the content that I have on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained. Just one word. Thank you for viewing my video. Hope the video helped you. Bye-bye.